Cool. All right, so guys, welcome. I know we're a couple minutes late, but we're just a few minutes before Realtor Standard Time, so we're good. We got right in there at the right time. So I've done this class before about the buyer consult, and this will be a lot different. It'll be a little bit different. So a couple things. I need someone who would like to volunteer. Anybody want to come sit in this chair? You're going to be my buyer. Like, I'm going to do a buyer consult in real time with a buyer. The only thing I would ask is that you put your realtor hat away and just be a buyer, a normal buyer, and not come with all the real estate problems that us as agents tell ourselves. All right, so when we're ready, we'll get you up there. You can finish eating. Take your time. We've got a few minutes. Don't make yourself sick. All right, so people ask me, like, what do I do with a buyer? When I get a buyer that comes in, what do I do? Like, what are the obvious things that we do for buyers? What do we need to know?
If they're qualified.
All right, do we need to know that, or do we want to know that? Like, my mom used to say, hey, dude, do you need that, or do you want that, right?
Well, we need to know that.
We need to know? Okay. Are you sure? Is it just a want?
I think it's a one.
Okay, could be, right? Could be, so you can know where they're at. I think for me, after being in the business for a couple of years, it's a need. Like, I need to know, because I'm not going to go out and show houses to somebody who's not ready, willing, and able. Right? I know they're ready. Everyone's ready to buy a house, by the way. You know anyone that's not ready to buy a house that's over the age of 18? Probably not. They're all willing. The question is, are they able? Right? That's the last big question. So we got to find out if they're qualified. What else?
Budget?
Budget. Okay, we got to know how much money they're spending or want to spend. Is the budget always the amount of the sale, or what other factors come in?
Closing costs.
Okay, maybe closing costs. Usually it's payment. Like, I can afford this much of a payment, and sometimes we work backwards from that to figure out. And Myra is the one that's the master at that. So if you're like, well, I know how much they want to pay a month, but I don't really know what that qualifies them for, that's why you get them in touch with Myra or with a loan officer, right? What else do we need to know? What are all the basics?
House criteria.
What type of home? House criteria, what type of home? So, how many bedrooms? What's another big crucial part?
Locations?
Location.
School district.
Location, that's the only thing that matters. All the rest stuff doesn't matter, but location does, right? All right, so the reason that I by the way, if you're an agent on my team, you get to do a buyer consult with me. And on my team, you don't get to get leads from the team until you've passed off your buyer consult. Because I need to know that when I give you a lead, you're going to be able to sit down with someone, do a buyer consult, gain all of the information that you need to know as an agent in order to go out there and find them a home. Right? So it's a buyer consult. We set appointments in the office. They come into our office. We want to have home field advantage. We want to be in the office where our tools are, our computers, and all the things. You know, when they say, oh, meet me at Starbucks, like, look, I'll stop at Starbucks and get you your favorite drink, but we're going to meet in my office because I need my tools, right? I need home field advantage. So this is an important part of my team. I think it's an important part of the business. I think all of you have done buyer consults. If you've ever worked with one buyer in your life, you've done a buyer consult. It may not be organized like this. It may not look exactly like this, but you've done it. And this is just about making sure that you have it very organized and you have a purpose behind doing a buyer consult. The reason that we do them, there's one reason and one reason. Well, there's probably 30 reasons, but the one reason that's important to me as a team owner. What do you think it is? By the way, it's not house criteria. I don't care what they buy. I really don't.
Just to make sure that you guys are on the same page.
Okay, maybe to make sure they're on the same page. No, but that's a good point.
What they expect of you and what you expect of them.
Okay, so we're definitely going to talk about that in my buyer consult. Why do I do a buyer consult though? What's probably the most important thing that we as real estate agents,
Establishing a relationship with your client.
okay, establish a relationship,
To see if you can make this up.
see if I can make it happen. For me, it's about getting paid. Sorry, I said it. Nobody wants to say that. Like, guys, I don't get out of bed every day and go be a real estate agent because I love to sell houses and I love to look at houses. houses.
And
right?
people.
I love people. No, I don't. I don't dislike them, but I'm not in love with them, right? For me, it's about, I want to make sure I'm going to get paid, right? So mine's about my buyer broker agreement. The purpose, the reason that we do this, is we sit down and do this is, yeah, we want to know what house they want to buy, what part of town, what's your square footage, what's your price. Have you been pre-qual with the lender? Hey, get with our lender so you can get pre-qual. Yeah, all of that is a part of it. But ultimately, at the end, my job is to get the duties owed signed, right? Because now I'm under contract. They've signed something with me. On my team, it's a team duties owed, right? The state requires that before you do any real estate transaction with anybody, they need a copy of the residential disclosure guide, right? So we give them a residential disclosure guide at this meeting and have them sign if they got it. And then the last thing is my buyer loyalty agreement. I don't use a buyer broker agreement like you guys have seen in MLS. I use a buyer loyalty agreement. It's a little softer language. It's a little easier for me to explain. There's not as many legalese, and it doesn't look like it came from a lawyer's desk, right? And people are a little more willing to be loyal than they are to be under a contract that says they can do certain things. Mine says all the same stuff. Don't take that wrong. But we use a loyalty agreement.
If we're not on your team, do we have access to that or no?
You absolutely can have access to it. Do you have my script book? Okay, if you don't have my script book, send me an email. Todd, 1D, at signaturemd.com. In the subject line, put script book. I will send it back to you. This is under the buyer consult section. There's an index. You'll see the buyer consult section. The loyalty agreement's there, and then all of the other documents I'll be using today are there as well. All right. So any question, let me ask you this. Why would you do a buyer consult? Like why are you here today? What's your reason for wanting to be here?
Because I have no clue what I'm doing. And I was
Okay.
a disaster on my first sale.
Cool. Did you get the sale?
I
Then it
did.
wasn't a disaster. Disasters are when they end in nothing. It was probably a lot better than you're giving yourself credit for. And that's good. Why are you here? Mary?
Just to help make sure.
Mary, you're a pro. Like you've been doing this a
Well,
long
I know
time.
that, but things change so rapidly, because I work in two different markets, so I just want to make sure that I'm covering all the bases.
Okay.
Especially since COVID, there's a lot of other new stuff.
See if there's something different that you don't do.
Yeah.
Good. What else? Who else? Why are you here? What are you trying to get at this?
I just want to get as much experience as I can, so when I go into one, I'll be prepared.
Okay. So just getting ready.
Yeah.
Getting ready to get ready. Cool. Anybody else want to share why they're here?
I would like to know what you're telling buyers when they ask you the market and appraisals and all those kinds of things right now that are crucial for appraisal contingencies. What do I do if I don't have 50,000 over? Whatever. I'm here to get those kinds of answers.
Okay, so at the end, we'll have a question and answer session where we can go through all that stuff. To be brutally honest, I don't go through that in my buyer consult. That isn't, for me, this isn't the time to confuse them, to give them, what I don't want to do is I don't want to give them so much information that they walk away and go, I'm never doing that. Like, I think that happens too much. Share a quick story. I've shared it before. I had a good friend, still my good friend, joined my team. He was my listing specialist. He was, as I called Mary, a pro, been doing it for a while. He only wanted to take listings. I didn't want to do that anymore, so he came on my team. I sent him on seven come listings the first month that he was with me. They were, hey Todd, we're selling our house. Come on over so we can sign the paperwork. I'm like, cool. I'm sending Jeff over. He'll take care of it. It's no problem. How many of those seven? These are come listings. How many of those seven did Jeff take? You'd say all seven. I wish. How many?
3?
I wish.
Zero.
He took one of them.
Wow.
One. Here's why. We found out later. I mean, we sat down and I said, hey, Jeff, we got to figure out what's going on here because these were come listings. These are past clients. These are people who know me, who love me. And I know that's hard to believe. They do business with me. Like, they get me and I get them, and what the hell happened, right? So it ends up that Jeff is super smart. Like, he's way too smart. He knows every scenario. He knows everything that's going to happen in a real estate transaction. And he has no problem telling you. Like me and Jeff joke about Jeff's big thing in life is being right. He just loves to be right. If you just go, dude, you're right, he's happy. He can be totally wrong. Like, no, Jeff, that doesn't have bacon on it. And it doesn't. And you go, but it does, you're right. And you're like, okay, cool. Right? So he just loves to be right. It's a joke between him and I. And what he would do on these listening appointments is he would go and share with them every possible scenario. Your appraisal could come in $30,000 low, and then you might have to lower the price. Or we could renegotiate the price. So right, he would just fill them up with so much information that they would go, you know what, we need to think about this. Right, so be careful with that. We have a lot of information. A lot of the information that we have sometimes doesn't need to be shared as much as we think it needs to be shared. But we'll talk about all of those scenarios, no problem. I don't go over those in my class. All right, so I'm about ready to get started, but I want Maya to come up. Thank you for lunch, Prosperity Lending, right? If you guys aren't working with Prosperity, if you're not working with Maya, you should meet with her, find out what she can do to help you with your business besides close loans. Like, it's bigger than just closing loans. Closing loans is the easy part,
Right.
right? It's the other stuff that you need help with, they can help.
Absolutely. I mean, even with the buyer consultations, our office is right here as well. So, we team up, we can meet with them all at the same time. A lot of the times, like Todd was mentioning, it's the biggest thing is the budget. I say, when I start my buyer consultation, I always start with a question like, what's the maximum you want to pay? They're taken back by it. They're like, wait, what? They think it's a trick question. They think I'm going to say, okay, well, if that's the case, I'm going to put you in this loan, that's going to be your payment. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to get your maximum. I want to know what your comfort level is, because you may be able to afford $1 million home, but you don't want to pay for that. So if all you can afford is this much, this equates to like a $300,000 home. So this is what you should be looking for. So when they're out there, they're like, they have their comfort level. So, pairing up and having those buyer consultations, super important, as you guys to us. So, we're here in the office. If you guys need anything, just let us know. We'd be happy to help any way we can.
Will you attend buyer consults?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you're having one and you got some inside fear about the loan process, the whole lending thing, just invite her. She'll show up.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, we sit through so many of them too. We hold hands and do it together. So, we'd be happy to do that.
Cool. Thank you for lunch.
Thank you. You're welcome.
We love their always feeding us, as you can tell. All right. So here's how it's going to go. When I'm sitting down, I'm in the buyer consult. This is what it sounds like. This is what it looks like when I'm in the conference room with me and whoever I'm meeting with. If I stand up, that means I want to explain to you what's going on here. Okay, does that make sense? I just want to make sure, because there's going to be a little bit of both of those. Ready? Tell me your name again.
Aaron.
I was going to say Andrew, but I was going to
Nah.
get it wrong. All right, Aaron. Hey, man, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Have a seat. So you're thinking about buying a house?
Yeah. It's time for me to move. It's time to make that big jump. So it's my first time.
So what is your current living situation?
Well, I'm in an apartment
Okay.
with my wife and 2 kids.
Wow.
I'm making this up.
Oh,
Well, not the kids. But yes, just we need a bigger space. We want to have a dog. I want to have a yard. So
Cool.
definitely want to make this move.
Trying to make it a big family then.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
So let me ask, why is your wife not here today?
She had to work today, so I told her that I'm the man in the house. I make all the decisions.
Got it?
But I will be reviewing most of this stuff with her, so we can go over and see what makes sense. But
Cool.
Financially, I'm fit for the loan.
Okay, so when you purchase your home, it'll be in your name or your wife's name?
We're both going to go in, but from what I understood from the credit, they said that I make more money and my credit's better.
Okay.
So they're going to try me first.
All right, good. So you're going to try to do it on your own, but
Yes.
her name will be on there. Cool. So
Yes.
we'll be writing offers in both yours and her name.
Yes.
Okay, good. So where do you want to live? Do you live in an apartment now?
Yeah, I'm
What are you thinking
over
about?
there. I'm on a southeast part of town. I'm very open. I just don't want to move in the outskirts of Vegas.
Okay.
I want to still live somewhat inner city, where
Inner
it's still like 10, 15 minutes from.
Everything?
Yeah.
Right, that's what's great about Vegas. is
Yes,
that everything's
yes.
around. Cool.
Right.
All right, well, we can definitely help with that.
Okay.
That's the easy part of the process. Don't worry about that.
Perfect.
All right, so the first thing I want to let you know is, today while we meet, one of 3 things is going to happen.
Okay.
Number one thing would be that you're gonna like me, which is super easy, don't worry about that. I'm gonna like you, and we're gonna agree on how to buy you a home.
Okay.
Like your goals to buy a home are things that I'm gonna be able to help you with, and we're gonna get into business together.
Okay.
All right, does that make sense?
No, that
Like
does.
my goal today is to get into business with you. I wanna help you and your wife find your perfect home, and all the things that we're gonna talk about are gonna be around getting into business. Fair?
Yeah, that's fair.
Number two is, and this is not my goal, by the way, but number two is you might not like me. I wouldn't understand why, but you might not like me. And you might say, hey, look, it just isn't a match, it doesn't fit, I'm gonna go look around. I'm not offended by that. I understand this is a business transaction, and I wanna make sure that you're super comfortable with me being your agent.
Okay.
So hopefully number two doesn't happen, but that's a possibility, right?
Yeah.
Let's just be honest. Number three is, I might not be able to help you reach your real estate goals. Like your goals and the things that you're looking for might be things that I may not be able to help you with. And so I may choose not to work with you and your wife. And if that happens, I don't want you to be mad. Again, it's just a business decision. I'd rather tell you now that I can't help you rather than let you down 30, 40, or 60 days from now, right? I want to make sure that we're both going down the same page. So the goal today is to get into business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right, good. So let me ask this. So I'm going to write some stuff down. Is that okay? Like I like to keep records, so I got this little worksheet that I have. I'm just going to use to write down some information. That way I don't forget because I'm getting old. And I easily forget stuff. So let me ask this: on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the most desirable, of course. 1 being the least desirable, 10 being the most desirable. What are the things that has to happen during this transaction? Like, what's one thing that has to happen that will make it a 10 for you? Like, at the end of this transaction, you go, that was a 5-star best transaction. Like, what's the one thing that I've got to do to make sure that happens?
I think time.
Time. Okay, so there's a time crunch.
Yeah. Our
What is
lease
that?
is coming up in 2 months,
All right.
and we want to be able to make this decision and move within the 2 months.
Okay, so we've got to go find a house, get it under contract, get it closed,
Yeah.
get it all done in the next 60 days.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what are we? The 17th of June. So
Yeah.
you guys
So
are
we have
August.
I would say August, the end of August. So beginning September, we want to try to be
Cool.
moving with our.
So you said you had a couple kids?
Yes.
Are they of school age?
Yes,
So you want to get them into their new school
exactly.
before school starts?
It'll be 10th graders, so I have twin
Wow.
boys. Yeah.
Serious?
Yep.
Is that real or is that you making
That's
that
real.
up? 10th graders?
Yeah, this
Ah.
year now.
Dude, don't look that old, does he? All right. So, yeah, so that's no problem. Listen,
Yeah.
time is going to kind of control itself. What? Let me ask you this: what would make it a 10 plus? Like, what would make this transaction so good that like you tell everybody you know who I am and what I do for a living?
You know what? I want it to be smooth. I don't want to feel like that there's no ifs, ands, or maybes in our conversation. I know that there's some indefinite things that can happen as far as choosing a place, and maybe I understand that part, but I want the paperwork to be nice.
Okay.
I'm not too experienced on the paperwork. I don't know what that looks like.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I would love the communication to be there.
Okay.
Tell me what I need to do, what I need to provide, or where I need to be at to look at this property. I would like to have a list
All right.
that makes sense, so that way my wife and I, we can make a decision while we're, at home looking, house hunting, and then we can call you and you're available.
Yep.
And you can say, hey, I'm ready to take you guys out, and also make a great recommendation too. Maybe my recommendation may not be suitable based on your profession, so I want to go for your profession.
All right,
That's why
good. Cool.
I'm in business with you.
So here's what you should know. On my team, we have one person, specifically her job is paperwork. Like, she loves paperwork. She carries paper with her. I'm like, don't send me paper. I have it on my phone. She's like, no, I got paper. I want you to look. Right. So
Yeah.
when it comes to the paperwork, my team is set up in a way that all the paperwork will be fully explained. You'll understand everything that you're signing, and everything will typically get done digitally. So it's easy to read on the computer. It's easy to sign. And she manages all that for me. She does all that. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't manage paper very well, but she's a professional. So that's why she does that part of the business. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
good. And then communication-wise, just so you know, we're top-notch communicators. you're probably going to turn to your wife at some point and go, man, I wish that, that's a lot. Like, I wish you would stop calling me so much, or stop texting me, or stop emailing me. You're going to get a lot of communication step by step. We're set up in a system where everything that happens in the real estate transaction, you'll get an email about it. You're going to know exactly what's going on, times, places, people. You're going to know all that stuff. Is that cool?
That's cool. I'd rather you call me more than I have to call you.
All right, good. So let me ask this. What's your communication style? Would you rather me communicate with you? Is it texting, emailing, or phone calls?
I like texting first.
Okay, so number one is text.
Yeah.
Good. My number one is text as well.
Yeah, I definitely, there's times where I can't talk. I may not be able to pick up.
Okay.
But if you send me the message, I can read it right there, and based on priority, I'll be able to give you a call back.
Perfect. What's the second choice?
Second choice, email.
Email. Okay.
And then third, phone.
Perfect. All right, we will do everything we can. So let me just put it to you this way. If you see my phone number come up on your phone, it's an emergency. Because I'm going to be texting, emailing you before I call you. But if I call you, you probably need to step out of where you're at and answer.
Definitely, and I'm okay with that.
Because I need to talk to you about something. Because I'm the same as you. I don't necessarily make a bunch of phone calls, but I like to text. I like to email. I think that's a better way to communicate. That way it's also in writing. All right, good. How do I win with you? Like, how do I win? Want to be on your good side. How about your wife? How do I win with her?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be with her, so.
Okay. Keep her happy.
Yeah, just keep her happy. Keep us out the heat.
So not a lot of showings.
Yeah, not too many showings. I mean, I think that's what's going to confuse us.
Okay.
If we see like 30, 40 properties, we're probably not going to, they're probably going to look the same to us.
Yeah. So my goal, by the way, is to get you to look at 5 or 6.
Okay.
And be writing an offer on one of those 5 or 6.
Oh, that'd be great.
We're going to understand when we're done here exactly what you're looking for, and we're going to set you up so that you're only getting those kinds of properties. And so if we're seeing more than 5 or 6 houses, then we need to adjust your criteria.
Yeah.
If that
Okay.
makes sense.
That
And
makes
if that's the case, a text to me that just says, "Hey, I just got 37 properties." Let's make a change. Like, we got to figure out what that looks like, right? Because
Yeah.
I don't want you guys spending the rest of your life looking at houses.
Yeah.
I'd rather you spend the rest of your life living in a house.
Perfect.
Cool. Okay. So how do I lose with you?
Miscommunication. I don't want no loopholes.
Okay.
If you're not available, that we need to be available based on our timeline. I'll go find somebody else.
So time is like a big thing.
Yeah.
Cool. So stay on time.
That's really
All right. What do you guys expect from me?
To assist us through the whole transaction, to help find that diamond in the rock. Not trying to say that we're looking for one specific thing. I don't want to be difficult, but I've never looked for houses before, so I want to know what that looks like.
So it'll be a little bit of a learning curve.
Yes.
And that's cool. I mean, I think buying a home, especially this is your first home, right? I think there's a little bit of a learning curve. So don't be afraid if you've looked at 5 or 6 and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not picking a house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a learning curve. We may have to make some adjustments. Don't worry about that. That's part
Okay.
of the process.
Cool.
All right. So let me ask this: what do you think I should expect from you guys?
To pick up the phone
Okay.
or respond when you're asking us any questions. To also be able to, I don't know. I've never been asked that
All right.
question before. That's
All
a good
right.
one. I'll give you that one.
All right,
What would you want from me?
So let me ask this question.
Yeah.
If I send you a communication and you don't respond in X amount of time, at what point do I get concerned? Like, are you going to answer
Get
24
concerned.
hours?
Yeah, get
couple of
concerned
hours?
if I don't call you back and the very next day. Let's say you call me at 7:00. If you don't hear from me by 8 in the morning, I would probably be concerned.
Okay, so if I
Based
don't
on
hear
my time right now, I need to.
a couple of business hours, if I don't hear back from you,
Yes.
I should assume you didn't get my communication, and I'll try again.
Exactly.
Cool. I'll go to the email. I'll go to the phone calls.
Perfect.
All right, good. I just want to make sure that I'm not bothering too much, because this is going to be a lot, by the way.
Okay.
All right, good. What else? What's your fear?
Man, I don't want to go into something and I'm paying all this extra money.
Okay.
So budget is big for me too.
Tell me what you mean by extra money.
Well, I got friends that, they tell me all the time they bought a house, and I saw them witness that, they pay this much monthly, and then after a couple years, then the payment goes up. So, and I heard about the crash.
Yeah.
So I don't want to.
And you're still hearing about the crash?
Yeah, it
It's
didn't.
12 years ago, but.
Yeah, and then also prices are going up right now, so I don't want to go into something and all of a sudden the price shot up, and then now we have to make an agreement on that price. Like, how does that work?
Well, once we write an offer on property that's accepted between you and the seller, then the price that we are written in the offer is the price. I mean, if the market goes up over the next 30 days while we're waiting to close the property, the seller's bound to that price. Now, the
Okay.
only thing that will affect that's the appraisal,
Okay.
and that's not something you need to really worry about today.
Yeah.
Because appraisals are specific to properties, and so as we look at each property, we'll determine that. Like, we'll have that conversation when we go to write the offer.
Okay.
We'll
As long as
talk
I'm
about
not
appraisals.
signing something, and then next thing you know, my payment is different than.
Yeah,
what we
well,
agreed.
the
So-
first thing you're gonna sign is that you're gonna give me an extra 10 grand. No, I'm just kidding. All
Let's see.
right, so tell me about your house. What does it look like?
I love. One story would be awesome.
One story,
I'm
okay?
getting a little bit older, so the knees. You're right, but I could deal with a 2-story. Worst case scenario, I'll definitely want a decent enough yard where I can have a dog that can play. Just one dog. I don't need nothing crazy.
Shih
But
Tzu,
enough.
Mastiff,
Doberman. I want a bully,
a bully? All
but
right.
he's still like small, but
Alright.
he's kind of like.
So,
buff
so
looking.
tell me, compared to this room we're sitting in, like, how does this compare to your yard? Is it bigger, smaller?
Well, my yard now is a balcony because I'm in
But,
the.
but the house that we're gonna.
Right, the
how
house
big do
I
you
would
want?
like will at least be the circumference of, I would say where that table is to the doors.
Okay, and then
Back
like
this
behind
way.
the sofa?
Yeah, behind the sofa would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, by
The
the way,
bigger the better, but I know that, I've lived out here for quite some time. I go to my friends' parties, they're not the greatest.
Right.
So I just want enough where he can just run around.
okay, so the
Yeah.
yard you're explaining is about a standard size yard.
Yeah.
They're all 60 feet wide minimum.
Okay.
Right, so then we just gotta talk about depth. By the way, that's not quite 60 feet, that's probably 50 feet, so
Okay.
should be a little bit wider. And they're 10 to 12, and then they get bigger.
Nice,
All
okay.
right, cool, so what else?
Definitely, my boys are going to be in 10th grade. I want them to be in a great school. Their first year, it was all COVID.
Sure.
So it was all virtual, so they never really attended school. And now
So what school are they zoned for now?
they are zoned, their mom handles it the way that's set up, but they're in the Southwest right now.
Okay,
So,
like Desert Oasis?
yes, they're exactly at Desert
Okay.
Oasis. So,
All right. I've
But
been
I'm-
through all of that, so I
Okay.
understand how all that works.
thank you. Yeah,
Is
because
that-
I always tell everybody, Dad
Yeah.
does everything else.
Yeah,
Mom,
Mom
she
takes-
helps with the education piece, and I just come in and reinforce the situation. So
I've been through it myself, so I understand what you're saying.
perfect.
So is Desert Oasis the school of choice, or are we okay to expand that out?
I'm
some
okay
other
to
places?
expand it.
Will
They
they-
didn't have
will
a
they-
lot of friends that really went from middle school to high school there, and that their first year was all virtual.
Virtual anyway.
So
So will they go to school from your house, or will it stay with your wife, or is it your ex-wife?
X.
Yeah, so will they stay going to the school?
They stay going to school, but we share. But she's willing to let me take and make that decision too.
Okay,
This is their teenage years.
All right.
And with that, it's
they
now.
play sports?
Yes,
Which ones?
football and basketball.
Oh, okay. So we're looking for a good football school.
Yeah.
Liberty,
Yeah.
Dio's not so good for football, but,
Yeah. And I don't expect them to get scouted, but I need their mind to be working while
Sure.
they're on the field, right?
all right, so high school needs to be a good high school. What
Yes.
else? How many bedrooms are we looking for?
Definitely 3.
Minimum of 3?
Yes.
What if I found you a 4-bedroom?
I would be okay with that. I'll turn into office.
Okay, so
Yeah.
more bedrooms is okay. How about
Yeah.
2 bedrooms?
No.
Not gonna work. Perfect. So no number 2s,
Yeah.
and it's a 3 or up.
Yep.
Okay, cool. We talked about lot size a little bit. Do you care what year was built? Like, are you living in a house built in the 60s, or what's that look like?
I'm in an apartment, so the apartment is fairly new. I wouldn't say fairly, but probably 2000s.
Okay.
So something in around 2000s would probably
Okay.
be ideal.
So 2000 and up.
Yeah.
So something that's 20 years old.
Yeah, I don't want to be dealing with messed up foundations and
Okay.
weirdness going on.
How about
with
your
the property.
garage?
2 car.
2 cars fine.
Yes. Yes.
What if I found a 3?
Then I'm gonna buy a boat.
3-car it is then,
Yeah.
3-car. I mean, I need somewhere to get on the boat, so if
Right.
I got a boat, then I'll right? All right, what else? What else is super important? Like, is there any part of the house that, like, it has to, this is a, so I like to call them the 5 most important things. Is there
Yeah.
anything that if it doesn't have, it's a deal killer?
Um,
What if it has a pool?
I don't want a pool.
No pool. Pool's
Yeah.
a deal killer.
Yeah, pool's a deal killer for
Okay.
me. I hear that the power goes up on stuff like that.
Okay.
Again, I want to be able to,
Afford it.
yes,
Sure.
knowing that I'm coming from an apartment to a home, I believe that expenses will go up. So I'm anticipating that, but no
Okay.
pool.
All right, no pool.
No pool. Let's say nothing old. I just don't want anything old, right?
Okay.
I want it to look.
There's nothing wrong with
fairly
old
new.
people.
No, the property. I don't want to do no
Okay,
renovations.
so
Right?
no renovations?
Yeah,
So
no,
you want-
I don't want to renovate. I
So
don't.
something move-in ready.
Yes, move-in
Okay.
ready.
Tell me, when you say no renovations, you don't want to paint, you don't want to put carpet?
I'm okay with paint. I don't
Okay.
want to have to redo the floors.
Okay.
I don't want to have to close anything or open anything because the floor plan. I would like an open floor plan if that's available.
All right.
Something where I can see from the kitchen to the TV.
Okay. so
I like
okay.
to cook.
Okay, good. So you probably want an island then?
Yes.
Stand at your island so you can
Yeah.
watch
And
TV.
you know what? You're making me think. I need an island.
You need, oh, so it's a
Yes,
must?
Yes,
How big?
because I just need something in the middle of the kitchen. What I'm working with right now, it's like right here to here. So I keep constantly doing this. Something in the middle will help alleviate that.
All right. The size of that table, or you want something bigger?
You know, if something's bigger would be awesome.
Okay.
Even if it had a bar, not the bar in the island, but a bar with
Right,
connected
like
to
a
the-
sitting bar for them, to
Yes.
like a breakfast bar.
Yes, that would be awesome.
Okay,
So-
good. Good, so we
The
want
kitchen
an
is
island.
where I live. Everybody else can live in all the other rooms.
All right, but we want a great room set up where the kitchen and the family room
Yes,
are open to each other.
exactly.
You can see the TV from the kitchen kind of thing, from the cooking.
Yeah. So while I'm cooking, I can watch TV at the same time, and then make sure my kids are doing what they're supposed to be doing. Have some stuff in the middle of the island,
All right, cool.
and then call them up. They come to the bar. That's like a perfect kitchen setup for me.
All right.
Yeah.
What else? What are we missing?
Sound like I'm just missing my dog after that.
All right, cool. Anything else I should know? Anything that your wife specifically has said that she's concerned about, that she wants?
No. Not everything after we talk about, I'm going to review with her. So if anything comes up, yeah, I can shoot you a text or give you a call.
Yeah, so I'll follow this up with an email
Okay.
to both of you because I have both of your email addresses.
Perfect.
I'll shoot it just a summary of, hey, here's kind of what we're looking for. Here's what the next step is. Here's what all that stuff is. But there's nothing else you're worried about. No concerns, no questions. You're
No,
good.
again, as long as I can fit around my price range, that's really, obviously, I think I don't know if that's everybody's concern. For me,
Sure.
price range is super concerned. After that, everything else I feel like will fall into play.
All right, perfect. So what will happen is we're going to have you talk to our lender.
Okay.
Like it can be a phone call, you can meet with them, but he's actually going to pull your credit. You're going to fill out an application.
Yes.
Right? You're going to fill out the application. They're going to pull your credit, and they're going to help determine what your price range is.
Okay.
They'll determine that 2 ways. A, what do you qualify for? And B, what payment do you want?
Right.
And then they'll help you kind of figure out what payment you want, what kind of house that will get you, and then that will help us determine what part of town we're going to look at. We didn't talk about location though. Is there a part of town other than, we talked about Desert Oasis High
Yeah,
School?
we, southwest is still like,
The choice.
that would probably be the choice, number
Okay.
1. Summerlin, number
Okay.
2. North
And-
Las Vegas, number 3.
Henderson? Not Henderson.
Henderson, I just hear it's expensive out there.
Yeah.
I got to see what I could afford.
All right, well, we're going to figure out what your purchase price is going to be based on some criteria that the lender will gather from you. And then we can make more decisions that way.
Okay.
What else?
I think that's it. I mean,
So I'm going to have my lender call you later today.
okay. Yeah.
Will you be able to pick up the phone?
Yes.
All right, so his name's Tony, by the way, and he's a good guy. He's done a lot of deals for us. What I like about Tony is he takes all this trouble out. He just does his thing and gets it done and doesn't put a lot of pressure on anybody.
Okay.
They have a great processing team that will work with you as well to just gather the right paperwork and get everything done.
Okay. How long, like from start to finish, do you think I can be able to get this accomplished as far as getting the house done?
So there's going to be so it takes typically about 30 days from the day we get you under contract
Okay.
till it closes.
Okay.
So the question is, what about before that? So however long it takes to get you approved with the lender. So if you talk to Tony today, you get him all your paperwork tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I would say by Tuesday or Wednesday next week, he'll have your pre-qual ready to go. And he'll say, okay, you're qualified for this much money. And then we can go, okay, we're going to start looking at houses that are priced in this price range.
Okay.
So we can start looking on Wednesday. And I don't know, does it take a week, 10 days? I mean, I don't know how often you guys can go look at homes, but it could be as easy as a week. It could take 2 or 3 weeks. In today's market, we're seeing more inventory come on.
Okay.
And so we could find you something really quick. So it could be really quick. Now,
Okay.
if we don't find something that you love and it's not fitting and we got to make some adjustments to the criteria, because again, you haven't looked at a lot of homes. You may get out there and find something that doesn't, you thought that's what you wanted, but it really isn't. I had a lady tell me one time, I'm not buying a home next to an elementary school. Guess what she bought?
The home right next to that.
It backed up to the parking lot, and there
Wow.
were 1,000 kids that walked over her lawn every day, and it ended up that she loved watching those kids walk across her lawn. So,
Wow.
you'll just get out there, and there might be some things you don't know that you thought you knew, and we'll just make adjustments. That's fine. That's part of the process.
Okay.
All right, cool. What else?
I think that's it. I think I can take this home and, be waiting for Tony, right?
Yeah,
To call
Tony's
me?
going to call.
Okay.
All right, so you ready?
Yeah.
To get into business.
I'm ready. I got to make this move. Let's
All right.
let's do this.
So I'm confident I can help you reach your goals. I'm confident we can get you into home by August, no problem.
Okay.
And so just a couple things, let's make it official.
Okay.
Cool, is that?
Yeah.
All right, so the first thing I want to share with you is my duties owed.
Okay.
You take some time and read through this if you'd like. It talks about my fiduciary duty to you and your family.
Okay.
Do you understand what fiduciary duty is?
Just basically swearing that you're gonna be good to me, right?
Here's what it means in the simplest words. It means
Yeah.
I'm going to look out for your best interest
Okay.
before mine.
Okay.
So what happens, your best interest and your family's best interest in this transaction is number one.
Yeah.
And nothing else matters. Now, it'll also say here that I've got to be fair to all parties. I can't be lying to the other side or doing things that are illegal, right?
Right.
But my first duty is to you and your family, and that's first and foremost no matter what,
Okay.
even over my own.
Perfect.
Make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to have you sign here on the buyer, and you're going to initial on the may or may not. Now, what this means is I can act for both parties. So
Okay.
what this means is if I have a listing that you guys fall in love with, the question is, are you okay? Because I already represent the listing side. Are you okay if I represent you at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see.
I'm not offended if you're not okay with that, because if
Yeah.
that happens, we'll just turn it.
As
over.
long as you're not sharing information about me to that person,
Yeah, I can't because of
Yeah.
my fiduciary duty.
Okay.
I'm required not to do that.
then I'm okay with that.
All right, cool. Sign here, initial there, all good. By the way, I'll send this to your wife digitally. Send it to her email address so she can sign it.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, so this is my team duties owed. These agents are on my team. Here's their license numbers. It's just a disclosure for you to know who might hear about your deal, who might be a part of it. By the way, they have exactly the same fiduciary duty as I do.
Okay.
They got to look out for your best interest, so they can't share your information, can't share your secrets.
Nice. Okay.
Is there
Thanks.
anybody on that list that you know?
I don't know anybody on that
Okay,
list.
I've asked that before, and then one guy went, "Yeah, that's my ex-wife," and he was like, "I'm not signing it."
Oh wow.
So none of those people you know, right?
No,
All
no.
right, good. They're all good people, by the way. They're all been on my team for quite a while.
Nice.
So I'll have you sign here. Again, I'll send that to your wife. Do you have your phone?
Yes.
All right. So I sent you an email before you came,
Yep.
and it says residential disclosure guide in the email.
I did see that.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So we're required by Nevada state law to share with you the residential disclosure guide. Look at this
Okay.
as the dictionary or the index for real estate terms.
Oh,
You're going to
okay.
hear us say things like single-family residence and escrow and close of escrow, and this is really just a explanation of some of those terms, and it's broken down by disclosure. So
Okay.
we have a bunch of different disclosures the state requires us to use, and that this is just a guide on all of that. And I need to have you sign this to say that you got it. You're not signing that you've read it and agreed to it, just that I've given it to you.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right, so
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah. I
sign
got
it.
that. Yeah.
All right, and the last piece is my loyalty agreement. Like I said, I want to be in business with you. I want to make sure that you're loyal to me and I'm loyal to you, right?
Yes.
I don't want to spend a bunch of time doing a bunch of work and then find out that you're out cheating on me. No, I'm just kidding. You wouldn't do that.
No,
All
no.
right.
That's happened to me before.
Yeah. So, our relationship in this deal is gonna be together. Like,
Okay.
I'm gonna work hard for you, you're gonna go out, we're gonna go find a property together. And all this says is that you have duties, I have duties, my commitment to you, your commitment to me. My commitment to you is I'm gonna do the best job I can do, I'm gonna find you your dream home. I'm gonna answer your calls, I'm gonna communicate with you. I'm gonna make sure that this is all done legally, so
Okay.
there's no future problems down the road, right? No one's knocking on your door saying, hey, I own this home, and you bought it fake, falsely.
Right.
That's my job, and I'll do that, and as
Okay.
long as you and your wife understand that if you go to another open house, you're gonna let me know that you're going. You know, new home tracks, you're gonna call me so I can meet you there.
Okay.
Right, that's how we as real estate agents get paid,
Okay.
okay? So what it says here is that the minimum commission that we work for is 4,000.
Okay.
I'm gonna assume in your price range, you're gonna be well above that, and that probably doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But we'll know that again when we get your price.
Okay.
And if there's an issue there, I'll address that with you,
Okay.
okay? It also says that we work for a minimum of a 3% commission,
Okay.
okay? So if for some reason the seller's only paying 2.5%, then you would make up that 0.5% difference
Okay.
at close of escrow.
Okay. That makes
And remember
sense.
my TC, the paperwork girl?
Yes.
So we charge a $5.95 transaction fee.
Okay.
It's to help pay for people like that, pay for our systems and do all the transactional type stuff so that you and I are covered 100%.
Okay.
And you'll pay that also at close of escrow.
Okay, and that's what I was gonna ask. So most of these fees I have to pay when the house.
You wouldn't pay them unless we closed on the transaction.
Okay.
So there's
okay.
no upfront fees or anything like that.
Cool.
All right, then what we've put in yellow here is that you're gonna give me permission that if any of these things happen, like if we find a house that you wanna write an offer on and it's at 2.5%, you're giving me permission to negotiate that extra 0.5% with the seller to try to save you from having to pay.
Yeah,
Is that
I
okay?
can. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that's just what's in yellow there. So go ahead and read through that. If you have questions, sign and date.
Cool. No
All right,
questions.
Good, cool. All right, so here's what will happen next. Tony's gonna call you.
Okay.
As soon as you walk out, I'm gonna get on the phone with him, I'm gonna give him your information. He's really good, he'll call you within the next hour, so watch your phone, pick up the phone, and the sooner we can get through with Tony, the sooner we can go out and look at some houses.
And that was great. Thank
Questions?
you, Todd. No,
Okay,
no questions.
nice to meet you.
You too.
Look
Thank
forward to
you.
working with you. I'll introduce you to my team when the time's right, and we'll get this thing done.
Perfect.
All right, cool, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it. Super easy, right? Just me talking to another guy about buying a house.
You have some good stories.
Well, a lot of it's fake, some of it's real.
Is it 50/50?
I really had to act like a new person.
All right, so any questions, any like ha-has, anything that you took from that that might help you in the future? Mary?
Well, the one thing I heard you say was, if the commission is less than 3%, you can negotiate, with the seller to pay the rest.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in our loyalty agreement, we have them agree to let us do that. So that we don't want them to pay the extra 0.5% if I can actually get it from the seller. So in offers, we always try to negotiate that with the seller if it's a 2.5% commission. Because we're trying to save our buyer time. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In today's market, it doesn't happen very much, but we still try. Like, we're still gonna do our fiduciary duty and make that happen. Okay, what else? That's it? It was so good that you got nothing out of it. That's,
I know for me, like I got a lot out of it because I'm new, so I haven't had any transactions as far as, I'm dealing with a lot of residential, but just understanding the whole consultation, how your approach is. I'm in sales, so it was very familiar. I understand. You got to fill them out. At the end of the day, you got to get them to sign a contract.
right.
Right. So it was definitely a consultation to lead me up to, all right, this is what I need from you because this is a business transaction. You started that from the beginning. I want to be your business partner.
Right.
So back and forth, this is what I want to accomplish. You're trying to eliminate any hiccups, anything that you feel like you're not going to be able to achieve. You're doing that right there, so that way you understand, like, hey, am I going to waste my time with this person, or am I going to get paid?
Yeah, so I'm glad you recognize that because it is a consultation. By the way, what's the difference between a presentation and a consultation? Anybody
You're
know?
just telling someone in the presentation.
Okay, so a present, who's the presentation about?
Yourself.
Me,
Yeah.
right? Presentations are about me. And do any of you care about me? Be honest. Come on. No, hell no. You don't care what my, right? So we don't do presentations. Because people don't, I mean, let me be really honest. If I was going to do a presentation, I put together this really nice PowerPoint presentation. I'd go out, shoot some videos. I'd get it professionally edited by my buddy back there in the beta, right? I mean, it would be the best. And I'd walk in and I'd set it down on the table and I'd push start and I'd let them watch this boring movie about me. But guess what? What wouldn't I know at the end? Nothing, right? If you want to do a presentation, send that to them in an email before you meet with them. Like if you really want them to know who you are, just send them an email, shoot a little video, have that done before they get here. Because this should be about them and what they want. It's a consultation that's questions based. It's just questions. It's asking questions about what they need, what they want, what's important, what's not important. So in my script book, the script I use at the beginning, that one of three things is going to happen today. Number one, number two, number three. That's in the script book. It's called the 3 Outcomes Script, page 43, I think. It works really well because it sets it up front as okay, here's why we're here today. And we're here today to do one of these three things. And if you can get them in to buy into that before you talk about anything else, it's easy to get into business later. But if you're trying to explain to them, oh, hey, by the way, at the end, I need to get you to sign some paperwork. Because I mean, it's just a harder conversation because you haven't set up the fact that we're here to get into business together. And if you get into business together with someone, you typically sign something. So it becomes very natural and very normal. Okay. So there's also the 10 plus buyer consultation sheet that I use. It has all those questions on it that I ask. There's an outline at the top. There's 8 steps to the consultation. Again, that's in the script book, page 44. This says 47, but I'm pretty sure it's 44. Anyway, it's under the buyer consult as well. There's just some good questions there to ask. Any questions? Anything you would do different? Yes?
Not something different, and it's kind of more specific to this example of him being really open to the location. And if he wants you to help him narrow it down, do you have any tips for that? Do you explain the areas to him in any sort of way, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, so I try never to explain anything to anybody because it's on them, right?
Yeah.
So here with his example, because we didn't have a price point, talking about specific locations wasn't a possibility. I didn't want to start talking about Southern Highlands, because by the way, that's zoned for Desert Oasis, because I know the median sales price of Southern Highlands is about $450, and don't be offended, but in my mind, I'm thinking he's coming from an apartment, stepping into a $450 home. I don't know if that's possible, right? So I don't want to start talking about locations. So in this example, I wouldn't start talking about locations until I got a price point. And then I could say, so Desert Oasis, there's this part of the town that you can look at this for Desert Oasis. If you want to go over to Liberty, which is just across the 15, you can look at more houses over there. He gave me Southwest as his location, so I would start looking at Southwest first. So does that help? Like couldn't give him an answer on location because I didn't know enough information.
But do you talk about median price in certain areas with them at all? Like, do you say those words
If I don't know a price point for them, I don't talk about price. It's just confusing.
But once you do get the pre-qual, would you say it might be hard, like realistically, it might be hard for you to find something in this area because of the median price point?
Yeah, so let me give you an example. I'm sitting here, what was his second choice, you remember? Summerlin, right? So if his price point comes in at 300, right? What do you know about Summerlin and 300?
It's not happening.
Yeah, it's just not happening. So yeah, I'm having that conversation. Hey, by the way, the least expensive thing in Summerlin that's a 3-bedroom, single story or even 2-story is going to be somewhere between $380 and $475. Summerlin is just not an option. But we could move a little bit east of Summerlin, just outside of Summerlin, we might be able to find something there if that's really where you want to go. No, Southwest will be fine. So yeah, we will definitely talk about If it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. Genesis, I know that you're a fairly new agent. I'm gonna say this for newer agents, right? And I think this is something even older agents do, not older in age, but, you know, older in the business. I think we have a duty to our clients to preview homes. What I mean by that is if you don't have a buyer today that's out looking at houses, you should go out and look at 5 houses, period. You should look at 5 houses in Summerlin. You should look at 5 houses in Southern Highlands. You should look at 5 houses in Anthem. You should go out to the Northwest one day and look at 5 houses. You should be looking at new home tracts. If you're not showing houses to a client, you should be looking at them yourself. It's the only way you're going to learn the inventory. There's nothing worse than having a consult with somebody who says, "Yeah, I'm moving into town. I'm gonna live in Summerlin. I'm coming from Oklahoma, and I got $175,000 to spend cash. So I just sold my double wide, and I want to live in Summerlin." Well, if you've never been in Summerlin, you never looked at homes in Summerlin, you may not know that 175 is a pipe dream. But if you know that and you're in the consultation, you can kill it right there. You could say, "Hey, look, I want to let you know that 175 in Summerlin is not an option. There's not a single home available there for 175. There are 300,000-400,000 up there. Let's talk more about the east side of town if you're looking at 175, right?" So previewing homes teaches you what the inventory is. I've sold several homes in my life by having been in that house a week earlier and then having a conversation with somebody somewhere that says, "I want this," and I go, "Let's get in the car. I know exactly where that house is. I was just in it a week ago." I know you think that's like the craziest thing you ever heard, but I had a guy tell me one time, he says, "Man, my dream is to have this single-story home that the kitchen and the family room are together and the back wall is painted red. Like, I want that contrast. I think that's cool." And I'm like, "Dude, just seen the house a week ago. Let's go check it out." Literally got in the car, drove to the house, and he went, "Yeah, this is it." And I said, "Well, how soon are you going to buy a house?" And he goes, "Looks like today." Wrote a contract. Back in the day, you could write it and get it accepted the same day. And we were under contract, right? So it sounds odd, but I'm telling you, it's fact. If you know the inventory, if you've seen enough homes, you will sell more homes. Like, we have 2 problems. We don't talk to enough people, and we don't see enough houses as realtors. So I'm telling you to see 5 houses a day. Pick 5 vacant homes in Southern Highlands. Vacant. Don't look at anything occupied. 5 vacant homes in Summerlin. The most expensive vacant home, the least expensive vacant home in that neighborhood. And then just 3 in between. It should take you about an hour. You pop in, you walk through, and you leave. Like, you're not there for 20 minutes. It's just a walk in, see what it looks like. Okay, this is what I can get in Southern Highlands for $350,000. Great. And then you go look at the $750,000 one, and this is what I can get in. Right now, you know. And then you do that all over town. You should be doing that. Look, if you can't do it every single day, at least 3 days a week. Like, that's your job. And then go look at new home tracts. 1 new home tract. If you're not looking at resales, look at a new home tract. I know that was hard for a while because you couldn't get in, but now you're going to be able to go visit those homes. All right, so what else? Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay. What else?
I've only been licensed for 2
Don't
months.
tell me that you're new. Just tell me your
Okay,
question.
my concern is if I have a buyer that's only qualified for 325
Okay.
and they only have X number of dollars down, period.
Yep.
I don't want to lose a buyer because maybe I'm only getting offered 2.5%. That 3% might just throw them over the edge.
So are you asking me if I've ever not collected the 0.5%
Yes.
and they could do that?
Yeah, I guess
Of
so.
course.
Okay.
I mean, he was very easy on me, but I've had people sitting on a chair and go, "I'm not paying 0.5%."
I would have given you a little bit of a hard time.
Yeah, I'd have still got you to sign it, because I would said, "You know what, if we get down to the end and I can't get the seller to pay and it doesn't make sense, I'm not gonna kill the deal over it."
Okay, okay.
But I'm
That's what
also
you
not
meant.
offering that information.
Okay,
I'm only telling you this is how I do business,
okay.
right? How many people do you think have fought back and not paid 0.5%? In my personal,
For you, probably very few.
well, for you too, if you just approach it that way. I mean, if you approach it,
People find comfort in value. When I used to think the same thing. I was always the one that didn't want to scare nobody into paying something. And if you're out there and say, look, this is what I charge, you'd be surprised how many people will go to the Nordstrom instead of to the Target.
They prefer
They
the
will.
Nordstrom.
Because
Right.
they like the service. If you're providing and you're expensive, they want you. Because they want everybody else to know, I went to her, I went to her. You know, they don't want to know that they went to the.
Then they
they
really
went to
like
see
it
it first.
when you let them off the hook at the last second, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean, if that's what it takes,
they
right?
really like you, right?
But would that come out of their pocket or that can go into the loan? This is where, like, if I've got
It's
It's all out of their pocket.
Out of
Even
their
the seller pays it, the buyer's paying it.
That's out of your pocket.
Okay.
And I'll just tell you that in the last 5 years, I've only had 2 people that I know that wouldn't pay the 0.5%, and we couldn't get it covered by the seller, and they didn't pay it at the end. They were both VA.
Oh,
But people, they don't, everyone thinks people fight back about it. They don't fight back.
okay.
They're just like, look, here's what you have to understand. This guy sitting in this chair, what was he? What was his emotion? He's freaking excited to go buy his first house.
Excited and,
Like, he's not sitting here going, oh, this is gonna be horrible, and oh, I don't wanna do that. No, he's like, yeah, dude, sign me up. What do I sign? Where do I go? Let's do this.
yeah, it's not like buying a
Right?
car.
They're excited. And so that's why you do it in a consult, because they're excited. They're not excited when the appraisal comes back low and you go, hey, don't forget about that 0.5% we talked about too, right? That's not when you present that.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, your appraisal came in 30,000. Well, we need to talk about my loyalty. Do you mind just reading? No, that's why you do it now. They're excited. They're literally going to sign on to it. Do a good job presenting it. Do a good job telling them what it is. Be very clear what it is, and get them to sign it. Have people not signed it? Yes. Guess what? I've walked away from deals because they wouldn't sign it, and I could tell from the consult that I wasn't going to get along with them. Like, I want people that trust me as a professional, and if they don't trust, if they've already got problems and we just met 15 minutes ago, I'm okay. I'm okay. Look, I'll find you another agent. I'm going to pick number 2 today. I'm sorry. Number 3, this isn't going to work out for me. I don't want you mad at me in 45 or 60 days. So hey, let me get, I know the perfect agent for you based on our conversations when we have a call. Right. All right, what else? That's it. You had some specific questions. We can talk about those.
Okay, so I have several buyers who are afraid to get into the market because they've heard the horror stories. Oh, I have to have $500,000 cash. I gotta have $50,000 appraisal. I don't know how to explain that away because it's pretty true. So I don't really know what to tell them.
Okay, so the first problem, the first challenge that you have is you're trying to explain it away. Look, it's true, it's a fact. There's no, I mean, you can't explain away the truth. The challenge they have, or that you have, is you don't know what their motivation is. So anybody who's telling you, oh my gosh, I don't want to pay $50,000 for appraisal, they're not motivated to buy a home. This guy lives in an apartment. He got 2 teenage kids. He needs to get out of his apartment.
But
Right,
does
he's
he
got
know
motivation.
that's an option for him?
Does he need to know?
Well, okay, so in my mind, if you knew that could happen and you know my timeline is 60 days, and if you know that I have to put in 15 offers to get one accepted and I'm still gonna have to come out of pocket 30,000, you knew that going in and you didn't share with me, I'd be mad. You didn't share that with him.
What part
So
did you-
I would be a little upset if I thought that you were withholding information, knowing my timeline and knowing my financial situation.
Okay.
I heard if we gave him, if he gave you information that he didn't give you, like what he actually qualified for and all this, and we knew the number, and it was, you know, there are houses in that price point that have the bedrooms in the backyard. Are you not having the rest of that conversation there? You're waiting until you want to make an offer. When he wants to make an offer, then you're going to talk about, hey, so here's something we didn't talk about before.
Well, if I know what his price ranges are to be pre-qualified before we met, we're actually gonna get on the computer in the consultation. And we're gonna look at those homes we're gonna look at those price range homes on the screen.
Yeah.
And we're probably gonna go see 5 or 6 of those homes today. Like, I'm not gonna reset another appointment. I'm gonna do it today. And no, I'm not sharing the horror stories at the consult. Sorry, I'm not gonna do it. I've got to write 15 offers, that's on me. I'm the real estate agent. if I can't get on the phone and negotiate an offer with another agent in town and give them the reasons why they should pick my guy and not somebody else, if I can't share with him and his wife how to write an offer that will get accepted in today's market, that's on me. I'm the agent, right? So I'm not withholding any information. I'm just not telling him all of the information because it might happen. What if I have a listing that he falls in love with and I know exactly what my son will take and he's the one that done deal, signed it? As much as you might think that no offers are getting accepted, I've gotten 4 offers accepted within 5 offers of writing offers recently. None of them paying over list. None of them are paying over the offer price. None of them did any kind of appraisal guarantee, right? I just found out what they wanted, and I did my research, I did my work, I found a property that fit them, and I convinced the other agent that my guy is the best guy. There's no reason for you to look someplace else. Yes?
So if, I don't know how you would approach this, but if someone's qualified or whatever for, let's say 350, do you look at homes for 350 or do you look at it for 325 knowing what we know that you probably have to offer more? Like how do you have that conversation with somebody?
So understand that qualified for and have cash to make the difference up for is different. So if they're qualified for 350, we're looking at 350 homes. Because they may not have cash on hand to make up the difference between the 325 and the 350. Right, because that's what your fear is. Your fear is they're gonna have to pay $20,000 or $30,000, so you
Well, I
look
mean,
at the 325. But if
yeah.
they're getting a loan, the loan will only come in what the appraisal is at.
Okay.
So I look at what they're, what can we get an appraisal at? That's what we can. Look, I have a client that Wally on my team has been working with for 3 years. They came to a first home buyer seminar that we did 3 years ago. They finally got their credit fixed. They started looking at houses. Guess when they finally got it done? Like one day after the frenzy began. And they have no extra money. They're going to get what they're going to get on their loan, and that's it. They don't have extra money to put in. Look, we had to tell them that this is not the time for you to buy a house. Look, we've been working with you for 3 years, but it's just not a possibility. We need to wait till this frenzy began. It's only going to be a few months. Don't worry, we'll get you back in. Right? So guess what? Starting July 1st, they're going to start looking. Because I think the frenzy's calmed down. I think houses are staying on the market longer. I think we're seeing more inventory come on. I think it's starting to come.
That's evidenced by 4 acceptances out of 5 written offers at this price or below.
One of them is at 340, one of them was at 280, one of them is at 440, and the other one was at 660.
It's comforting. I appreciate you sharing that.
So I mean, you can get them accepted. I mean, we got the one we got accepted for 660. The agent was there, and my buyer, which killed me in the negotiations, because she walked in and just flipped her lid. Like she could not stop talking about how much she loved this house, and there was no other house in the whole neighborhood or the whole world she wanted to live in. And the listing agent just sitting there going, okay, I'm gonna get an offer, right? And he knew that he didn't have to negotiate anything, but she closed on it Monday. She loves it. It is what it is. My job as a realtor isn't to save them the most money, right? It isn't to make sure they don't pay over appraisal. My job is to get them in the house they love, under the circumstances that they want to buy them, right? I mean, on that particular one, they were guaranteed $40,000 over appraisal, but it came in at value, so we're all good, right? So it's possible, but as for the horror stories, I'm not telling them the horror stories. I'm just not doing it. I'm telling them what they need to know at the time, because guess what? If I've got to get them into a house in 60 days, and we got to write 15 offers, and we got to see 35 properties, there isn't a better real estate agent in this valley to get that done than me. No offense to any of you. You're probably just as good, but I'm going to get it done. So no, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to figure out how to get them into a house. So I don't worry about that stuff. I just get it done. I know what the goals are. All right, what else? What other questions?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I mean, you have to probably have I have a guy, I'll share another story. I had a client of mine who I've known now for 27 years. He's never bought a home from me. He's my #1 client. sends me more business every year than anybody else in my world. He's never bought a house from me. Me and his wife have decided to buy a house now. Calls me up and says, I want to see this house. It's listed at $990. I'm like, cool, you're qualified up to 1.2, so we're good, let's go. So go look at the house, fall in love with it. The backyard's exactly what they want. It opens up, family room, kitchen, like it's exactly what they want, literally. And they're like, yeah, let's write an offer, no problem. All right, drive home. I said, all right, let me go pull comps, let me look at it, make sure that, what the number should be. Guess what? It was listed at $990. Guess what the last sold comp was in the same neighborhood, same floor plan, basically the same.
740,
A little higher.
780.
That was 820. The last sold comp was 820. Hey Joe, guess what? Last sold comp's 820. They've already turned down 2 offers below 990. What do you want to do? I'll wait. And it's not my decision. The house is overpriced by $170,000. We just don't write an offer, right? But I let my client decide that. I didn't make that decision. He did. I didn't list it at 990. The seller believes it's worth the 990. It's never going to appraise. My guy would probably pay 50 grand out of pocket, and he ain't paying 120 grand out of pocket. No way. So, yeah, that's all out there, but we don't have those conversations until we're in that situation. I didn't do the comps on the 990 house before I showed it to them. I didn't want to create any stories in my head about talking good or bad about the house when I got there, right? Let them fall in love, and then we'll deal with the aftermath. Hey, it's 120 grand, 170 grand overpriced. What do you want to do? Nothing. We'll
So
wait for
why
the
wouldn't
next
you
one.
have told them beforehand, just curious?
Why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't you pull the comps and said the same story with the prior to going and getting their hopes
Best
up?
client anyway.
Well, even if it's not my best client, why wouldn't I do that? What's our job? What do we need to do? You said it earlier. What do we need to do?
Establish the relationship.
That's right. We got to build a relationship. And if my relationship is always, oh, this is a crappy market, this house is 100 grand overpriced, we probably shouldn't just go see. That's not building a relationship. Like, this is a relationship business. If they want to go look at the house, let's go look at the house. Cool. Look, I hate looking at houses. Guess what? I take my wife with me. You know why? She freaking loves it. And she's really good at selling houses. She's not a realtor, but she loves it. So I take her because she can do the dance and be the cheerleader. And I'm walking around going, cracking the wall. Did you see this paint job? I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy, right? But my wife is. So she goes with me all the time because she loves to sell houses. But I'm not doing it before because I'm not telling myself a story. I don't want to be in a bad mood when I get there. Oh crap, I gotta go show this $170,000 house that's overpriced. I'm just in a bad mood now. That doesn't do anybody any good. I learned early on in this business, I gotta quit telling myself stories. Every single time somebody would call, I tell myself a story. Oh, he can't afford a house, he lives in an apartment. There's a time in my career where I use that as a reason not to move forward. You know what, I'm gonna pick number 3. I don't think you can afford to buy a house, let me move on. That sounds really crappy, right? But I mean, it's reality. People do it all the time. You prejudge somebody. You guys know, anybody see the office meeting this week? Right? I mean, Christian and Jay. This lady calls up and she wants to buy a foreclosure or she wants to buy some distressed property. They don't even know how much money. Christian, he'd have written it off. He would have never called that lady back. But Jay, for some reason he kept calling. Turns into a $16 million deal, right? I don't know how many times I've done that. I don't want to know because I've been mad about it. But it's not about telling yourself stories. It's about showing houses. It's what we do. Why'd you get your real estate license? Besides to make money. To show houses. That's why we got our license. There's nobody in here that got their real estate license so they could lead generate every day. Did any of you? Any of you go, I'm getting a real estate license because I want to call people I don't know for 2 hours a day. This is going to be great. No. Did you get in it to do your lead follow-up? No. Did you want to call the same number 47 times and not get an answer? That was why you didn't. No. You got your license to show houses, to sell houses, to take listings. Hey, I want to sell my house. I want to list it at $400,000. Well, it's only worth $300. I'm not coming out. No. Sweet. I'll be there at 2 o'clock. Right? We'll figure it out. It's not about whether, I wanna get out there and put my arm around the guy and tell him how great his house is. And, I mean, when I leave, he's gonna go, that's my guy. And then when I go, it's not worth 400, it's only worth 360, but here's how I think we could get to 400. How soon you need to sell it, he's then gonna believe me. I have a relationship at that point. I didn't have that on the phone.
So will you be doing a listing presentation thing like you just did today? for-
Probably not. I can't, but I probably will next month, probably in July. So yeah, guys, this is a relationship business. Go do the work. Like, don't talk yourself out of going and meeting somebody. Go to the social events, talk about real estate. Don't talk about real estate as, hey, my name's Todd, I sell houses for a living, if you don't buy or sell it. No, that's not how we talk about real estate. Hey, my name's Todd, how are you? Nice to meet you. How come you're here? Yeah, did you meet my wife? Hey, man, I gotta tell you, I have a weird story. I just met two guys that sold a $16 million house in town. Can you believe that? I mean, the most expensive home, most expensive high-rise in town, $16 million, and they're in my office. That was so cool. Right, it's just about real estate. It's not about me and real estate. It's not about me selling or buying or something. It's just a conversation about real estate. Anybody have kids? In here? We got two here, got some over here. Mary's got some. We got a grandkid. Jeff's got a kid. I got 3 grandkids, right? You got, right? Only thing I talk about are my 3 grandkids.
Me too.
That's it. I got 2 5-year-old boys. Two, they're the same age, man. They're like the best thing. Like, get rid of your kids as fast as you can. And get the grandkids. Because they're the best. I never have to say, no, Maddox, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, let's get that done. Your mom's not looking, let's go. Let's get it, right? So, it's the same about real estate. You want to have a great relationship with your business and your bank, right? You got to talk about real estate like you talk about your kids, like you talk about your grandkids. It has to be a part of your daily conversation. And not in the sense of, I buy or sell houses if I'm a realtor, hey, I'm a realtor. No, it's not about that. It's just about experiences you've had in the marketplace. Oh my gosh, can you believe, I just had a client pay $60,000 over this price. It's amazing. What? Tell me more. Now they know you're real estate, right? That's all it's about. They just gotta know. And then they have to like you. And then they get to do business with you. Right? So, stop not going because you told yourself this ridiculous story that in the end isn't going to be true. The guy that's $100,000 overpriced, you know why he's $100,000 overpriced? Because the one across the street sold for $100,000 more, but it's also 300 square feet bigger. And it has a pool. He's got desert in his backyard. Not desert like they planted it and it looks nice, like desert, like he didn't do a damn thing back there. Right? So, all right, any other questions? I think we're over time, I'm so sorry. Trying not to do that. Nothing? We're good? Okay, if you guys need anything, if you want the script book, an email, script book in the, I don't need a 37-page dissertation on why you need it or what you're going to do with it. Like just script book in the what's that thing called, subject line, and I'll just hit reply and send it. And if you write me a book, I'm not going to reply. I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to, I'll read it. All right, we're out.
Is it Todd?